Welcome back to the channel. Remember how episode 4 was warm and cozy? Arthur training at home, shopping with his mom and sister. Jasmine and Arthur deciding to take Brawl's quest together as one final adventure before the academy. It was beautiful. It was heartwarming. And episode 4's official description said, very quietly, at the very end, an unimaginable tragedy awaits them. Well, episode 5 is that tragedy. Released on April 29th, the beginning after the end, Season 2 Episode 5 takes a dramatically darker turn. What was expected to be a simple adventure turns into a horror show death trap. People die, real deaths, named characters we know. The dungeon punishes everyone mercilessly. And then, right at the moment the situation cannot get any worse, Lucas Wykes does something so unforgivable, so utterly despicable, that it will change how you see him permanently. This is the episode. The one the whole season has been building toward. Today we are breaking down every single horrifying moment of the beginning after the end, Season 2 Episode 5, The King's Struggles. Like button. Subscribe if you're new. And brace yourself. Quick recap. Episode 4 was the calm before the storm. Arthur trained with the twin horns. Reynolds tried to train with his son and got stopped by Alice and Eleanor. Arthur went shopping with his mom and sister, lost them, found them, bought a dimensional ring, came home exhausted and happy. Meanwhile, Jasmine was approached by A-rank adventurer Brawl, who invited her and Arthur to join a dungeon quest. The catch? He wasn't bringing his main party, just a mixed group of adventurers. Jasmine and Reynolds both found that suspicious. But with Arthur's academy enrollment approaching and the clock running out on their time together, the two decided to take the quest. One last adventure. The dungeon is called the Dire Tombs, and at the very bottom lies a massive mana stone. Simple enough, right? Wrong. Episode 5 begins with note, Arthur's adventurer alias, and Jasmine arriving at the meet-up spot for Brawl's dungeon party. With many others already present, we also saw some familiar faces, Elijah and Lucas. Of course it's those two, because apparently the universe has decided that Arthur, Lucas, and Elijah are permanently linked in every dangerous situation from now on. The full party is a strong one on paper. You have Brawl leading as AA rank, Jasmine at AA rank, Arthur, Reginald, and Kryal as A rank augmenters, Elijah, Samantha, and Oliver as A rank conjurers, and Lucas as support mage. On paper, this is a capable, well-rounded group. As Brawl arrives, they wrap up a quick introduction and proceed to enter the dungeon. As they enter, Brawl reveals that he had scouted the dungeon earlier and made discoveries that will help them reach their goal. And then Brawl drops the first piece of information that should have made everyone turn around and walk right back out. The creatures and monsters within the dungeon are considered immortal. Even if they are slain, they come back to life. Additionally, the creatures don't drop any mana crystals, leaving no upside to combat. This is why the dungeon earned the Tomb of Terror name. You can't kill the monsters for good. You can't farm them for resources. Every fight drains you with no return. The only option is to keep moving forward, manage your mana carefully, and reach the bottom before you run out of everything. And Lucas, because Lucas cannot help himself, immediately ignores Brawl's direct orders to conserve mana and engulfs the first wave of bat runners in his heat cyclone, wasting mana on monsters they were supposed to avoid. Brawl furiously scolds him, and Lucas snidely comments that he got the job done. The trap is already being set for later in the episode, and Lucas just put the first piece in place. The party pushes deeper, and the dungeon starts showing its true cruelty. Making their way toward the end of the tunnel, the party finds themselves blocked by a metal wall. Reginald and Jasmine bypass it with their combined power, and the group finds themselves in a forest surrounded in mist, and immediately, the mist starts working. Kryal drops his shield and runs into the mist screaming for his deceased fiancée. Jasmine deduces that the mist is inducing hallucinations, which Brawl and Reginald confirm as they witnessed Clara's death. The dungeon isn't just physically dangerous. It attacks the mind. It reaches into every person's deepest grief, whoever they've lost, whoever they're afraid of losing, and puts that image right in front of them. Kryal, a seasoned A-rank adventurer, breaks entirely at the sight of his dead fiancée and runs straight into the mist before anyone can stop him. Jasmine, scared after seeing her father in the mist, is comforted by Arthur, who promises her they would make it out of the dungeon. This moment matters, because Jasmine is one of the strongest, most composed fighters in the group, and even she is shaken. The dungeon is operating on a level that pure fighting ability cannot easily counter. Jasmine then uses her wind spell Banshee's Howl to blow away the mist, only for the group to be surrounded by a plethora of vines. The mist was just the appetizer. The party pushes to the next level, a cavern with rising heat. And Brauld makes a discovery that changes everything about what he thought he knew about this dungeon. Brauld stops the party as he senses an ominous pressure from the cavern ahead. While making their way through the cavern of geysers, they are ambushed by the sudden appearance of a giant cavern worm beast, a monster that was not present the last time Brauld explored the level. This is the moment Jasmine's suspicion about Brauld's invitation starts making terrifying sense. The dungeon has changed since his scouting run. New monsters have appeared. Traps have activated that weren't there before. Either the dungeon evolved, or someone changed it deliberately. While navigating the level, Samantha was distracted by the sudden rise in temperature. Arthur saved her from what seemed to be a trap, but Brauld revealed the secret entrance did not contain traps the last time he entered. Arthur deduced it was the work of a mana-beast. One of the party members, Oliver, the conjurer, grabbed Samantha and tried to leave the dungeon. Arthur sensed something and tried to stop them, but it was too late. While Arthur was able to grab Samantha and pull her back into a shield created by Lucas, Oliver was scorched with extremely hot water and died instantly. Oliver is gone. Just like that. In seconds, a named character, part of this group from the start, reduced to skeletal remains by a geyser eruption he didn't see coming. The group could only look in horror at Oliver's skeletal remains. The dungeon just claimed its first life. And the bottom isn't even in sight yet. Brauld also loses his right arm to the scorching hot jets of water and steam. The leader of the party, AA rank, missing his sword arm, in pain, deep in a dungeon that's actively trying to kill everyone. With Arthur elected as the new party leader and everyone agreeing to carry forward, they entered a doorway to an opening that looked like a field. And this is where the episode delivers its most devastating sequence. The field opening leads to the Elderwood Guardian, an S-class mana beast. The most dangerous classification in Diecathan. The kind of monster that entire veteran parties have died facing. Inside the Elderwood Guardian's chest was Kryal Masser, the adventurer who ran into the mist earlier. The monster didn't just kill him. It absorbed him, made him part of itself. And the sight of their teammate trapped inside the creature's chest completely shatters Reginald, who begins fighting the Guardian with blind, suicidal rage. Reginald was captured by the Guardian as well. 2 teammates gone. Brauld missing an arm. The party is deteriorating fast. And then, Arthur orders Lucas to help Reginald. Directly. Clearly. The order that could save the situation. Lucas attacked Arthur point-blank with his staff, not the monster. Arthur, his own party leader. In the middle of an S-class beast fight, Jasmine tried to help Arthur, only to be hit by Lucas's flames and knocked back into Elijah's earth shield, knocking her unconscious. Believing they were all goners, Lucas chose to sacrifice his teammates and escape alone. He began attacking his former teammates to keep them as bait for the S-class monster. Lucas then fired at the ceiling to create an opening and escaped from the dungeon. Let that land. Lucas Wykes, who has been an arrogant, frustrating rival, just crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. He didn't panic and make a bad decision. He made a calculated, deliberate choice to use unconscious and injured teammates as monster bait so he could survive. He attacked Arthur point-blank. He knocked Jasmine out. And he ran. This is not a rival anymore. This is a villain. With his spirit broken, Brauld laid down his sword as the Elderwood Guardian entangled him in its vines, killing the veteran adventurer. Brauld is dead. The A-rank adventurer who organized this entire quest, who lost his arm protecting Samantha, who appointed Arthur as leader and trusted him, dead. 3 teammates dead. The party leader dead. Arthur wounded. Jasmine unconscious. Lucas gone. No was able to recover in time to use his integrate phase of his beast will to kill the Elderwood Guardian. Arthur, battered, betrayed, grieving, stands up, activates his beast will, and takes the Elderwood Guardian down. Elijah managed to save Note, Jasmine, and Samantha by conjuring a shelter of metal as the cave began to collapse. While trapped for nearly a day, that's what's left of a full adventuring party that walked into the dire tombs together. Upon returning to the guild, Elijah, Jasmine, and Arthur gave their statements to Caspian Bladeheart when they were suddenly confronted by Lucas Wykes and his group of guards. Lucas came back, with guards, as if he had any right to stand in front of the people he left for dead. Elijah and Jasmine immediately charged at Lucas, but were halted by Arthur. Lucas began mocking his former victims, accusing them of having to sacrifice Brauld to escape. This prompted Arthur to throw his sword at Lucas, cutting his ear in the process. Arthur doesn't lose control often. He is measured, strategic, composed. But this moment, Lucas standing there alive, mocking the people he tried to get killed, breaks something. The sword throw is precise, deliberate, not enough to kill, but enough to make absolutely clear what Arthur thinks of him. Lucas was sent to the medical ward. Arthur asked Elijah and Jasmine to wait outside while he conversed with Caspian about what comes next. The episode ends there. The dungeon is survived. Lucas will face a trial, and Arthur is walking toward the academy, carrying something much heavier than he carried going in. The production note this week is actually positive for once. The animation for this episode was surprisingly better, especially compared to the bare minimum we've been getting from the series so far. The flashiness inside the dungeon actually added substance to the narrative, creating contrast with the dangers lurking within. It's not a dramatic transformation, but the dungeon environments, the Elderwood Guardian design, and Arthur's Beast Will activation all looked noticeably sharper than previous episodes. For this specific episode, the production actually helped the story land harder. Progress is progress. So that is the beginning after the end Season 2 Episode 5, The King's Struggles. Cryall absorbed by the Elderwood Guardian. Reginald captured. Brauld, the man who organized this whole quest, who lost his arm protecting Samantha, who trusted Arthur to lead them home. Dead, killed by the same monster that already took 2 of his people. And Lucas Wykes, the rival, the arrogant nobleman, revealed as a coward who chose self-preservation over his teammates, who attacked his own party leader, who left people he was supposed to fight alongside as monster bait. And Arthur, wounded, betrayed, grieving, standing back up anyway, killing the S-class monster that killed his party members, getting his people out. This is the episode where TBATE stops being a coming-of-age adventure story and becomes something darker and harder. And the Academy hasn't even started yet. Episode 6 drops May 6th, and based on that ending, with Lucas facing a trial and Arthur walking into it carrying all of this, it's going to be intense. And that is your complete breakdown of the beginning after the end Season 2, Episode 5, The King's Struggles. Oliver killed by a geyser. Cryall absorbed into the Elderwood Guardian. Reginald captured. Brauld dead. Lucas attacking his own teammates and running. Arthur standing up one more time to finish the fight, and then throwing his sword at Lucas's ear at the guild, which is the most restrained thing Arthur could possibly have done in that moment, and everyone in that room knew it. This episode changed everything. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think happens to Lucas at the trial? Does he face real consequences? Or does his family name protect him? And how do you think this experience changes Arthur going into the academy? What kind of student, what kind of person, walks through those gates now? Drop your thoughts below. This community always brings it. A like takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps this channel reach more TBATE fans. It means everything. And if you want every episode of Season 2 covered right here, subscribe and hit the bell. Episode 6 drops May 6th. See you then. Until then, the second life is just getting started.